Hello, Dwayne.
Anyway, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
But you didn't advertise until yesterday?
Well, on MeetUp it was advertised, but I didn't send out the email till yesterday.
Mm. Do MeetUp sends out an invitation, right?
Yes. It sends out the initial announcement when it's scheduled, then it sends out a periodic reminder invitation. All right, just get everything set up here and should be good to go in a couple minutes. All right, welcome everyone. Let's go ahead and start today's session. All right, hope everyone can hear and see me all right. All right, let's open up with our usual prayer, reciting of the prayer for spiritual workers. We'll move into announcements and then into today's agenda. Prayer for spiritual workers. Almighty God, I bless all those who, because of their limitations, would smite me. Almighty God, I bless all those who, because of their weakness, would not heed me. Almighty God, I bless all those who, because of their ignorance, would defile you through me. And I ask, Almighty God, O wondrous power, that your strength may be given to me now, so that I might be fortified by this, so that I might go forward bravely into the world, and despite reception, send forth my love of thee throughout all races of man. Almighty God, give me the power and strength to rise above my karmic weakness, the deficiencies in the pattern of my evolution, so that I might evolve and become stronger, I, and even stronger in thy everlasting light. O God, thy will be done. All right, everyone, welcome to, I guess this would be class or session 6 in our study of the new book authored by Mr. Nehemiah Davis, The Miracle Kit Behind the Power of Prayer. So initially, this series was to go on for just a preview of the first 3 chapters, and then we will move into a study of a couple of prayers given through the mediumship of Dr. Shri Yogiriji George King, one of which is the first prayer we recite, opening up today's session, the prayer for spiritual workers. And then the second prayer we can look at is a prayer we recite, a slightly modified version of the New Lord's Prayer that we recite at the end of every session. What we've decided to do, also got permission from the author, is to continue with the review of the entire text. Well, say about 99% of the text. We're going to leave 2 chapters out from these live broadcast sessions, that being chapter 9, the Mystic Prayer Technique, and chapter 12, which I believe is a review of personal testimonials that the author included about the efficacy and power of prayer that you've noticed both in his life and the lives of those around him. How we will structure this is we'll have we'll read through about 10 chapters, because we're cutting out chapter 9 and we're cutting out chapter 12. So we'll go through about 10 chapters, and almost every 3 chapters we'll do a review and a Q&A session. So if you look back at the email announcement or meetup announcement, you'll see I did a bit of a breakdown of how we're going to conduct the remainder of this series. Just put it up on the screen really quick, one of the emails. So we've already finished chapters 1 through 3. Today we'll be finishing up chapter 4, the pranas being manipulated by the prayer miracle kit. And then next session, we'll do a review of chapters 1 through 4, and then we'll also have a Q&A session. So we'll open the floor for any questions you may have about the material we're studying, or any general metaphysical questions you may have. I do see there's a couple of questions in the chat, so I will get to those after I move through today's announcements. After we finish the review session, we'll go on to chapters 5, 6, and 7. Chapter 5 being Understanding Man's Subtle Makeup, that's utilized in the Mystic Prayer Method. We'll read chapter 6, The Power of Invocation in the Mystic Form of Prayer, and chapter 7, Sound as Consciousness Manifested, the 4 Aspects of Sound. We'll then have another review session covering those chapters, including questions and answers that you may have. Then we'll go on to chapter 8, Mudra Yoga, Methods of Pranic Manipulation. We'll skip chapter 9, chapter 10, The Flow of Prana Through Prayer, and then chapter 11, Love Energy, the Carrying Agent for Prayer. And we'll have the final review session for chapters 8, 10, and 11. And then finally, at the end, we'll have a Mystic Prayer seminar. This will be an in-person seminar where we will actually go over chapter 9 in detail. We'll look at the mystic prayer technique, and then we'll also study in person those two prayers that I mentioned earlier, the prayer for spiritual workers and the New Lord's Prayer. We'll diagnose those prayers and look at the technique that was given by the Master Jesus in those prayers through the mediumship of Dr. Shri Yogiriji George King, as well as take a diagnosis and study of the dynamic prayer and mantra techniques given to us by Dr. George King. Further details of that seminar that will be given coming up in the next week or two. It may be held at FIU, it may be held at a different location. I'm not quite sure yet, but once I hammer down those details, I will let everyone know and put an announcement on MeetUp, and also send out an email announcement as well, give you an opportunity to attend that series. And then that will close up our session, sorry, our series and celebration, studying the new book, The Miracle Kit Behind the Power of Prayer. And for the rest of the announcements, same thing with the Florida group of Dear Society. We still conduct our weekly 12 blessings Thursdays at 8 p.m. We do have an in-person option as well, but if you cannot attend in person, then you can still attend via Zoom. If you'd like to attend these 12 blessing sessions, as well as our commemoration services, there's a link there to join. You can find us on MeetUp under South Florida at Dear Society. Our page will come up and there'll be more information there for you to join us in our 12 blessing services and commemoration services. Also at the Mystic Prayer Technique Seminar, we'll go through a 12 blessing service in which we will employ the Mystic Prayer Technique and gain further practice understanding of it. So do keep an eye out for that announcement. Okay, so before we go into finishing up chapter 4 this week, there's a couple questions in the chat. The first question here is, can you tell me more about some pranayama practices?
I mean, what they want to know. I mean, is this someone that's usually been here?
I think so. I recognize the name. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, we don't we have classes on it? Did I put videos on it?
Yes, there's classes available on talking about Raja Yoga and pranayama and some pranayama and spiritual practices. Yes.
Yeah, I would tell them, let's go visit those classes. Pranayama is an essential yoga used in almost every yoga science that's available to the public. There's about 12 yogas available to the public. And at least, I would say at least 9 of those yogas are open widely to the public. And 3, there's a lot of hidden things in 3. There's a lot of hidden stuff with pranayama too, but a lot of the basic information have been given to the public. Pranayama is a method to control the subtle flow of pranas, and it concentrates on 5 pranas. And when you control the pranas, you will gain control over the mahabhutas, which are the etheric elements within the body that helps make up the manifested bodies, whether that's the physical body or the astral body or the etheric bodies or the mental bodies. The techniques of pranayama helps to sensitize the physical body in order to control the astral body and to eventually control the mental bodies and the etheric bodies. And there's, like I said, there's 5 major pranas that you concentrate on through various techniques, which is udana. That's a subtle life force or prana or energy that's manipulated and located in the throat center, the head, the arms and legs, hands and feet. And is highly associated with the element of akasa, which is etheric sound and the carrying agent for all elements. And then the next prana is prana, which is located in the heart chakra or starts from the heart chakra and moves back and forth from the heart to the base of the spine chakra or the Muladhara chakra. And that your most techniques are concentrated on controlling the flow of that major prana, which is the second prana. The third prana is the samana prana, which is centrally located at the solar plexus center. And that prana is a conjunction point for all the pranas. And it helps to bring about a balance of all the pranas as well. The next prana is located at the sex center, and that prana is Vyana prana, and that prana moves throughout the entire body. Every millimeter or inch of the body, that prana is there. It helps to carry mind substance, and it helps mind mold and shape all the pranas. And the fifth prana is apana, and that prana is the prana that moves back and forth to the heart and back down to the base of the spine, the same as the heart prana moves. And as the heart prana goes down to the base of the spine and springs back up to the heart chakra, the apana prana takes the space of that of the heart chakra prana. And the goal is to mix these 2 pranas together in order to balance all the pranas in the body. And once you do that, you become an adept and you move on to mastership. So that's why pranayama techniques are very important, and it is used in all the yogas. The correct breath, whether you have to regulate the breath or bring about a rhythm of the breath, and then learn to retain the breath for minutes, for seconds, minutes, then hours, and then indefinite, well, at your command. So And when you when you can retain the breath for long periods of time, of course, you become an adept at that point. And remember, breath, as the yogis tell us, we breathe 21,600 times a day. And that breath is the soul chanting a holy mantra 21,600 times a day in order to allow the intake of breath and the exhale of breath. There's a sacred mantra that goes along with that allows you to breathe as long as the soul chant that mantra while embodying its consciousness in the physical body, astral body, or etheric body. So that's like the basics of pranayama. The techniques of pranayama you can find in the books that I like is the Contact Your Higher Self Through Yoga by Shri Yogiriji George King, Dr. George King, and The Science of Breath by Yoga Ramacharaka, and the pranayama exercises by Swami Vivekananda and his book, and Swami Sivananda and Rama Prasas. But the two top books I would tell you for beginners is the Dr. Shri Yogiriji book, Contact Your Higher Self Through Yoga, and The Science of Breath by Yogi Ramacharaka. I hope that answers your question.
All right, another question here. How to have or develop detachment of the worldly things?
I would tell you to follow the precepts of the first yoga is Jnana Yoga, and the second yoga is Kama Yoga, and the third yoga is Bhatha Yoga. Follow those three yogas, and it will educate you on how to bring about the attachment. And once you study and understand these yogas, it will only lead you to Raja Yoga. And Raja Yoga teaches you the 8 limbs of yoga. That's why they call Raja Yoga the royal or king yoga. And that yoga gives you a pathway to obtaining adeptship. So Jnana Yoga, remember, is the yoga of wisdom. It teaches you intelligent movement, which helps you to predetermine all your actions. Kama Yoga is the yoga that gives the laws and rules of all actions. And Bhatha Yoga is the yoga that helps you to come to the understanding that you must observe God in every living and so-called non-living thing. You must see God in everything. And then Raja Yoga teaches you, it's the yoga that helps you to conquer the mental world. And if you conquer the mental world, you conquer all the worlds, because all energy needs mind in order to go into action, in order to go into movement. But before you do that, you must understand the rules of actions, that the power or knowledge that governs all action. And that's Nani, Kama, and Bhati. Hope that answers your question.
Okay. So as we go through today's readings, if you have any other questions or comments, either about the material that's covered or any metaphysical related questions at all, feel free to post them in the chat, and I'll periodically glance over the chat and pose your questions. So if there's no additional questions, let's pick up in chapter 4. So last time we stopped at the human flow of prana, and there's several more pages in chapter 4, and then that will take us into chapter 5. We'll actually look at some of the pranas that Nehemiah described earlier in his answer to the question on pranayama. Specifically, we'll look at the flow of the 5 major pranas within the body. And then that'll wrap up our discussion on chapter 4. And the next session, we will do a review of chapters 1 through 4. And then, depending on how we get through the review, we may continue on to chapter 5. Let me find my place. Okay, here we go. Okay, the human flow of prana. The human flow of prana can be described from the nadi system. The nadi system can be described as the subtler lines of force that are the background of all manifested consciousness. These nadic lines of force are the positive and negative flow of prana. The word nadi has the root Sanskrit word nad, which means to move or flow. The positive vital flow of prana travels on the right side of the spinal column and carries the name of Pingala Nadi. The negative mental flow of pranas travels on the left side of the spinal column and carries the name of Ida Nadi. As these Pingala and Ida Nadis intersect, a level of consciousness is possible for expression. These nadis number up to 242,000, with about 10,100 branches that extend even further. For greater details, see the book Nature's Finer Forces. Most of the books, most if not all of the, as an aside, all the text referenced throughout this book can be downloaded for free at the mysticknowledge.org website. You look at our ebook library, you'll find Nature's Finer Forces, Serpent Power, and many other books. The Pingala Nadis are the subtle flow of positive energies. The Pingala Nadis also can be said to represent the arteries, the positive flow of blood charged with oxygen. The Ida Nadis are the subtle flow of negative energies. The Ida Nadis also can be said to represent the veins, the negative flow of blood charged with carbon dioxide. The sun aspect of both the Pingala Nadis and Ida Nadis working within the blood vessels, the moon rays that reflect from the sun, represents Sushumna. The nervous system, the prana, may move either right or left and both ways under certain conditions. An aspect of Sushumna is also that place where the prana changes from the right to the left and from the left to the right. On the physical level, it is called the spinal canal and cardiac canal. And in Sanskrit terms, it is called the Brahmananda. Before any of the above activities within the human body can take place, the Brahmananda, the Brahma, Ananda, okay, the eggs of Brahma must come into play. The absolute Brahma exhales, and the current of this great breath, the pranas or mahabhutas, moves forward within the mighty framework of the Absolute's presence. The pranas have various powers and qualities that are unfolded by the forward motion within the great current of the Brahmic breath of involution, a wave that involves Brahmic substance, a solidification process. When these 5 major pranas or mahabhutas enter the body, they are identified with different names and functions. The following table came from the book Kundalini Yoga, written by Swami Sivananda. Look at the major and minor pranas, table 4-4. First, we look at from left to right, the name, the major pranas, the color associated with the pranas, the location associated with the pranas, the region or functional movements of the 5 pranas, and the sub-pranas, the minor pranas or negative flow of pranas to help sustain gross manifested life. So first we have prana. Its associated color is yellow, and associated location is the Anahata chakra. Its region and function is the chest as respiration, and its sub-prana is naga, which does erection, an act or instance of belching and the hiccup. Next, we have apana. Its associated color is orange-reddish. Its associated location is the Muladhara chakra. Its region is the anus, and its function is a discharge of urine and feces. Its subprana is kurma, performs the function of opening the eyes. Next, we have samana. Associated color is green, and its associated location is the Manipura chakra. Its region and function is a navel center, and this function is digestion. And its minor or negative prana is the krikara, induces hunger and thirst. Next, we have udana. Its associated color is violet blue. Its associated location is Vishuddha chakra. It is in the throat region, and it is responsible for deglutition. It takes the jiva to Brahma in sleep and separates the physical body from the astral body at death. Its minor prana is devadatta, and this is responsible for yawning. Next, we have Vyana. Associated color is rose, pinkish. Its location is the Svadhisthana chakra, and its location's entire body is responsible for the circulation of blood, or its function, circulation of blood. And its minor prana is Dhanana Jaya, causes the decomposition of the body. The solar plexus chakra is the storehouse of prana, or cosmic energies, and is the conjunction point of prana within the body. In the science of pranayama, there are 5 major pranas mentioned: prana, apana, samana, udana, and vyana. The above table describes the 5 major and minor pranas. The major pranas seem to govern the subtle flow of cosmic energies within the subtle bodies and the human body. And the minor pranas or sub-pranas are brought into manifestation to assist in making various actions possible within the gross physical body. The conjunction points of the major pranas at this chakra are the flow of prana and the flow of apana. The first major flow of prana travels up and down between the solar plexus chakra and the throat chakra continuously. The second major flow of prana, apana, travels down from the solar plexus chakra to the base of the spine chakra and back to the solar plexus chakra continuously. As the first major prana ascends toward the throat chakra from the solar plexus, the second major prana, apana, moves from the base of the spine chakra to the solar plexus chakra. When the prana falls from the throat chakra back to the solar plexus chakra, the apana flow of prana falls back to the base of the spine chakra. In basic man, the karmic pressures do not allow these two pranic forces to completely unite. When man has purified the nadi pathways that carry the prana and apana energies, a balancing of these pranic forces is karmically allowed. And then the combined force activates Manipura chakra and accentuates the power of this chakra, which gives man the ability to operate on higher levels of consciousness. In the practice of pranayama, one of the main goals is to balance these two major pranas through the control of rhythmic breathing, which encompasses an even flow of inhalation and exhalation of breath and measured retention of breath with the incorporation of concentration and visualization. The control of prana and apana helps one to gain control over the other three major pranas, which are samana, udana, and vyana. Samana is a major prana that is mainly concentrated in the navel area. The udana major prana is concentrated in the throat area. The vyana major prana is located throughout the entire body. If you were to study any balanced pranayama system of exercises, you will notice that they activate the 5 major pranas, which essentially assist in purifying the nadi pathways so that man can operate on higher states of consciousness. The soul pulls in the 5 major pranas, tattvic modifications, and subdivides them into 36,000 pairs, creating the Pingala nadis and Ida nadis that equal 72,000 nadis of thin tube-like lines of force, and push them through the solar plexus center, Manipura chakra, and then branch off into 10,100 branches. These branches move into all directions, identifying over 100 major, minor, and minute chakras, vortex portals into the soul's essence, the bindu. As these nadis branch off, they expand and become smaller nadis and greater in number until it reaches over 200,000 nadis in number. The 5 major tattvas, modes of sonic motions of prana, are modified into what are called the 5 major pranas, which are prana, apana, samana, udana, and vyana. Then these modified pranas modify themselves again, creating 5 additional pranas that operate on a negative pranic level, which gives the nadis its power over gross manifestation. As shown above in Table 4-4, the 5 minor pranas in Sanskrit terms are Naga, Kurma, Kritkara, Devadatta, and Dhananajaya. These 10 pranas are manifested, processed, distributed, and regulated through the chakras. The human body has several ways of collecting this pranic force or cosmic energies to sustain itself on the physical and mental planes of this gross manifestation. The brain absorbs the mental substance of this modified prana in several ways. The brain acts as a magnetic force over prana and mind substance, attracting this mental energy from the surrounding atmosphere and mind belts of the Mother Earth. It also acts as a magnetic electronic instrument within the physical body and its subtler counterparts, where it regulates the mental energies through the physical nervous system and the nadic system, which is considered the subtle nervous system. The Nadi system defines or locates the chakra system, or the different points of consciousness, the bindus of each chakra, embedded deep within the mental bodies of man. The Nadi system lays out the pathways of the cerebrum, spinal cord, and nervous system, which are a partial aspect of its manifestation. The Nadi system also could be considered the immediate subtler background power for the cerebrum, spinal cord, and nervous system. All right, we have a question here. How do the ancient sages' teachings in yoga reveal the eternal truths? Are these truths accessible to us today through practice and devotion?
Yes, they are. And this book helps to define that, like most other books that stick with the ancient teachings. This book is only a translation of things that was put down thousands of years ago and that was explained in modern times by other bodhisattvas or cosmic masters. Hope that answers your question. You can hear me all right, right?
Yes, I can hear you clearly.
Here, okay.
The voice box is also another physical organ that has the ability of translating mentally modified cosmic energies into gross modified energies that expresses themselves in various levels of sonic vibrations. It also transmits various forms of modified sonic cosmic energies, prana, into the gross physical subtle realms of Earth. In later lessons, we go into great detail on this ancient and sacred science of sound, which in Sanskrit is expressed as nada, sabda, and vak. Another two physical organs that manifest the power of this subtler pranic force, modified as sonic vibration, and a gaseous substance called oxygen and carbon dioxide, are the heart and lungs. The heart and lungs share the responsibility of distributing subtle and gross cosmic energies throughout the physical, mental, and subtle bodies. The heart pumps the oxygenated blood into the circulatory system, which operates the artery system and circulates it throughout the entire body. The heart also pumps the blood that carries the waste product called carbon dioxide out of the circulatory system, which operates the vein system into the lungs to exit the body. The pumping action that the heart uses is a sonic vibrational force, which is another form of modified prana. The physical heart controls and sustains life within the physical body with its sonic beats. The mystic heart, which is located 6 inches in front of the breastbone within the etheric body, also sustains life within the etheric and subtler bodies, with hundreds of various sonic vibrational signatures that the adepts describe as 1,000 bells ringing when the adept raises Kundalini to the heart center, the Anahata chakra, in a deep state of meditation. This peal of bells within the Anahata chakra is also the subtler configuration behind the lungs and respiratory system. Just as the Absolute, God, relates the word, a sonic vibration, the central sun, and our sun within the solar system release the word also to create life, sustain life, and maintain life. Within the human makeup, the spirit released the word and manifested the soul. And then the soul released the word, and it created vortex portals to the essence of itself. Then these vortex portals released the word to assist the soul in creating the nadic system. In the formation of the nadic system, the vortex petals, or chakras, are further defined by this nadic system, as the nadis are further defined by its positive pranic flow, the Pingala nadis, and its negative pranic flow, the Ida nadis. As it intersects these opposite forces, it creates man's three major states of consciousness: the supra-conscious mind, supraconscious mind, subconscious mind, and conscious mind. This subtle sonic vibration, sound, is a carrying agent for the sustaining vital life force, prana, throughout the whole body. Each chakra releases a sound vibration or a series of sonic vibrations that configure the pranic forces or vital life force to slow down in order to bring about a gross manifestation of this prana and increase the flow of mind substance, which brings about a lower state of consciousness. The next major physical organs that are influenced by the next set of major physical organs that are influenced by the solar plexus chakra are the stomach, small intestines, large intestines, liver, spleen, pancreas, kidneys, and gallbladder. All of the organs mentioned above share some type of a responsibility in the storing, processing, and distributing raw energy throughout the physical body. The solar plexus chakra, Manipura chakra, is a subtle configuration behind these organs, and its main function is to store cosmic energy within the etheric and subtle bodies to bring about gross manifestation. The next subtle influence over the internal physical organs is the Svadhisthana chakra, which gives subtle energies to male and female sexual organs. It sustains life, initiates life, and maintains life on the gross physical plane of existence. The final major chakra that we will address in reference to the human body is the Muladhara chakra, located at the base of the spine. This chakra gives power over the lower chakras that are never mentioned in reference to man's existence, because those are the chakras that fall under the animal kingdom. This chakra initiates consciousness. It is here where the spinal column begins, which gives a free flow to the thought waves that use the spinal column as it is a superhighway to manifest the mental and vital energies as audible, coherent sound, language, and intelligent functional consciousness and unconscious movement, voluntary and involuntary movement. In the ancient tantric doctrines, the Muladhara chakra is noted to have the power of gross existence. It is the realm that brings about a division of time, kala, past, present, and future. With this division of time came the division of the great Shakti consciousness from the one to the many, which created two major flows of energies. One with a static quality of power, and one with a dynamic quality of power. This static flow of power is divided at the Muladhara chakra and possesses a mental nature that permeates the flow of cosmic energies called the Ida Nadi. This dynamic flow of power that is divided at the Muladhara, traveling in the right direction, possesses a vital force nature that permeates the flow of cosmic energies within the Pingala nadis. The word nadi is a Sanskrit word that has the root word nad, which means to flow. The nadis describe the type of energy flow, the quality of sabda, specific sound, power, and the directional flow of cosmic energies. This left and right flow of energies brings about a series of forces that aid in creating gross manifestation. It is here where the soul reenacts the power of the four trinities that I spoke about earlier. In the next chapter on the chakras and nadi system of the human body, I will go into greater detail on how the sabda power influences the subtle energy vortex centers, chakras. All right, and then there's another question here. In what ways does dharana differ from ordinary focus?
There's dozens of techniques that is used, and that's part of the 8 limbs of yoga. Is actually the ability to concentrate. And there's multiple ways that there's multiple techniques you use to bring about a concentration. It's actually Dr. George King gives a good lecture or auto series on concentration, contemplation, and meditation. Also, Sivananda actually wrote a book on concentration, contemplation, meditation, and it's a good read. I would suggest to read those. Concentration is the ability to channel the mind down one single thought. And the reason why you want to do this is what brings the ability to be able to contemplate. When you can focus the mind and channel all your thoughts on one single thing for hours of a time, not minutes, but hours of a time, then you would go into contemplation. Contemplation, by focusing the mind and channeling the mind, it brings you to a level of contemplation where you can begin to manipulate the mental energies and vital energies, which allows you to become a magnet for psychic energy. And you can begin to translate psychic energy through your senses, through your sense organs and senses, meaning that your astral and physical senses will begin to merge, and that brings about clairvoyance or psychic abilities, or what they call the siddhis. And then it brings about clairvoyance, clairaudience, all different types of psychometry, all different types of psychic ability. And then you have to do samyama using those abilities through developing your contemplation. And once you, as Swami Vivekananda tell us, that you use these abilities to conduct samyamas on everything around you and get to know your environment and become adept at using this contemplation. And that will lead you into deep meditation. You'll be able to control the subtle forces within the body, and you'll be able to transcend consciousness by moving the power of Kundalini, by actually taking the power of Kundalini and pushing it down to the base of the spine in order to unlock the full force of Kundalini and bring it back up the spine and activate the chakras fully and go into a state of meditation. And there in the meditation, you can do a meditation on each petal, on each bija or sound of each chakra, and that totally activates the chakra And then you can move all that energy up to the next chakra and to the next. But every time you move all the energy going into a conscious state of death. And this is what the ancient yogis call a dissolution of consciousness. And you become an adept and master. And when you come back down, you come back down with tremendous power. But you, in all of that, and if you follow the right pathway, you would not use this power, but for karmic reasons only, because you understand the laws of karma at that point. You will only use the power when absolutely necessary. I hope that answers your question.
And I think that also answered the second question, is how does following the 8 limbs of yoga raise our consciousness?
I just explained that. So.
Yeah, you just answered that. All right, so next let's go into a brief explanation of the flow of the 5 major pranas within the bodies. Number 1, we have prana. And this is the first aspect of prana, the vital life force of the body. This aspect of prana travels down from below the head area, the larynx, to the top of the solar plexus region and back up to the larynx area. Larynx. This is considered to be the forward breath or the inhalation. It brings in the fuel. Apana, the second prana, is apana. The aspect of prana that travels from the anus area, base of the spine chakra, up to the solar plexus chakra. This apana prana is equated to the out breath, exhalation. It functions below the chest, moving from the base chakra through the sex chakra, up to the solar plexus chakra, and back down to the base chakra. Number 3, samana. This flow of prana is located in the solar plexus region, which is the digestion and assimilation of gross energies. The samana prana has an equalizing quality to it. It converts fuel into energy. Prana and apana meet together near the navel, creating the conditions to produce or release the aspect of samana prana. It helps to regulate the interchange of these 2 forces at their meeting place, equalizes them, and is the most important agent in maintaining the equilibrium of the vital forces and their functions. This is the balancing breath. Number 4, udana. This 4th flow of prana is located at the throat area and travels through the head, arms, and legs. This 4th aspect of the major pranas is called udana. It is the positive pranic flow that allows man to speak and manifest consciousness through the intelligent movement of the head, arms, and legs. It governs the positive energy created to work the body machine, called the physical body. And number 5, vyana. This prana is the 5th major aspect of prana. It flows throughout the whole body. It regulates both the prana and the apana and keeps them in harmony. This is considered to be the power behind the continuous breath of man. It sustains prana when the main flow of prana is held in abeyance, as in actions requiring extreme effort. It is all-pervasive within the subtle bodies and gross body, and it distributes these vital energies throughout the body. All right. That completes chapter 4. Let's see. Give me 1 second here and take a look. Yeah, so in our next session, we will do a review of these first 4 chapters. And we think, Nehemiah, should we stop here or just continue on to chapter 5?
Depends on you and the people that's here. How many, I forget how many, this is what, about 20 pages?
Chapter 5, let me check. From 112 to 94 to, where does it stop? Yeah, from page 94 to page 123. Yes, it's almost 30 pages.
Yeah.
So chapter 5 will take a couple sessions.
So it talks about the Constitution of Man. Or it talks about the components of the prayer.
Yeah. It's understanding man's subtle makeup.
Yeah, it talks about
the constitution of man, yeah. The spirit, the I am. Actually, it needs to come here. So chapter 5, yeah, the mystic constitution of man, the spirit, the soul, the chakra system, the nadi system, and different levels of consciousness. Yeah. Yeah, so I'll save that for next time. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear what you said.
No, I didn't say nothing. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. All right, so next time we will do a review of the first 4 chapters, including the introduction, chapter 2, the ancient mystic knowledge of prayer in modern times. We'll go with the review of chapter 3, the 8 components of the prayer miracle kit. And chapter 4, which we just finished, the pranas being manipulated by the prayer miracle kit. Question here by anatomy. Want to see Tantra Yoga Class 5. Is it accessible to me? Yes, go ahead and send us an email from the account that is linked to your YouTube. So from the email address that is linked to your YouTube. And if approved, I will grant your YouTube account access to the Tantra Yoga Class 5. So in the email, let us know which class or classes that you would like access to. And if it's approved, then I'll go ahead and grant you access to that course. And our email address, in case you're wondering, Mystic Knowledge Center, all one word, @gmail.com.
Yeah, if they have any questions, they can also send us an email with the questions as well.
All right, and so before we close out, I want to share a couple of the resources that Nehemiah referenced in the questions that he answered. So one of which is if you go to our website, mysticknowledge.org, under Mystic Lessons and ebook libraries, you will see many books that you can download, ebooks, either in PDF or Word format that you can download, including some of the books he mentioned in the class by Vivekananda, as well as the books that are referenced in the Mystic Prayer Kit, many other authors. The Shivananda book, Kundalini Yoga, which he talked about when answering some of your questions, as well as some of the pranayama practices that he mentioned. All those books are here as well. That is ebook library tab 1. Again, additional resources, Yogi Ramacharaka / William Walker Atkinson. His books, we will cover in a series, an audiobook series and study series. Once we get back to that, we'll go through maybe 10 or several of his books.
The Science of Breath is there that they was asking about. That's
Yes.
Prana. And in the van and series, the Raja Yoga series is there too.
We also have here books by Sir Arthur Avalon, including Serpent Power, The Garden of Letters, and Shakti and Shakta. You'll hear Nehemiah reference these texts quite often. In fact, we have an entire series on this book here, Serpent Power. So you can download this book and read it as you go through the video series, lecture series on our channel for the Serpent Power. And that'll help you to understand that material. We have most of Helen P. Blavatsky's works here, and there are also several video lectures on Madame Blavatsky's material, including Isis and Veil and the Secret Doctrines. You'll hear Nehemiah in many classes pull from Madame Blavatsky's teachings, as well as many from Annie Besant as well. So many resources here available for you. Earlier in the text we're reading today, we referenced Nature's Finer Forces by Swami Rama Prasad. That book is here as well. You can download the next page of the ebook library, and also many books by Alice Bailey and Swami Vivekananda. These are all free for you to download, to read and study. And any questions you may have on the materials presented in these texts, you can bring them to us as well, and we can discuss them together. Throughout the years upcoming, we will have series devoted, both study series and audiobook series devoted to these books. So you'll have both the option of the physical text, well, the ebook text, an audiobook reading of the text, and a study series which goes into these texts and authors as well. So also, Nehemiah mentioned the book Contact Your Higher Self Through Yoga, specifically when he's answering questions about pranayama, some pranayama practices that you can make avail of yourself. This is a book authored by Dr. George King, published and made available through the Aetherius Society. In this book are several pranayama practices, very potent pranayama practices, I might add, that everyone can utilize. So you have the Science of Breath, Who's the author of that? I can't remember. I just went blank on that. The
Yoga
Science of Ramacharaka. Yes, Yogi Ramacharaka, The Science of Breath. And you also have Contact Your Higher Self Through Yoga by Dr. Shri Yogiriji George King. Go to ethereus.org, and under the shop link here, under books, you'll find this book listed. There is also another book that incorporates the same pranayama practices as well as a couple additional practices published through the Society, and it's called Realize Your Inner Potential. In this text, the pranayama practices are there as well, which are from the Realize Your Inner Potential, Contact Your Higher Self, but there's also additional practices like the violent flame practice, and then several others that we use in the Aetherius Society. Nehemiah also mentioned some audio lectures that are made available from audio lectures given by Dr. George King. And if you go to cloud.ethereus.org, you can find a collection of most of Dr. George King's lectures here available for you to stream. A couple of ones that are available for free is Levels of Consciousness, How to Develop Your Clairvoyant Powers. That's a good one. And Man's Mind. And you can also navigate here on the left-hand side on different subjects to find lectures that fit into that subject heading. For example, under the Enlightenment section heading, you have Concentration, Contemplation, Meditation, which is a lecture that Nehemiah referenced earlier in the class, and several other lectures as well, Man's Mind, and a couple others. Specifically to intuition and psychic development, you have, if you go into that heading, you have a lecture on intuition, a lecture on psychic development, and the one here, how to develop your clairvoyant powers, and so on and so forth. So in these lectures, he either talks specifically on the spiritual practice you can use to develop yourself psychically and spiritually, and even in several of them, he gives particular practice. I think in this one, trance and its various types, I think he gives the seashore practice. So you have several options here, many other references that were made throughout the book and throughout Nehemiah's answers to your questions. They're available either on our website, mysticknowledge.org, or at ethereus.org, where you can go into the shop and get some of the books, or cloud.ethereus.org and listen to the audio lectures given by Dr. George King. For any other questions or comments, you can feel free to email us at mystickknowledgecenter, all one word, at gmail.com. And if you have any other recommendations or suggestions on material we can cover in the future, feel free to send that our way, and we'll be happy to consider your suggestions. So are there any final questions or comments or anything you want to add before we close out today's session, Nehemiah?
No, just like I said earlier, if you have any questions, you can email us as well. And we can address you by email, or we can address it next week, next time we broadcast.
All right, there's no final questions or comments. Let us close out today with reciting the New Lord's Prayer, one of the two prayers that we'll look at in the conclusion of the Mystic Prayer series. The New Lord's Prayer. O divine and wondrous Spirit, O everlasting Lord of hosts, send forth now through me thy great and lasting power. Allow me, Almighty God, the lasting privilege of radiating to all the world thy great love, so that those who suffer may be given the power and energy to rise above their weaknesses. Almighty God, in great humility do I ask you to send forth your power, to give to me this great lasting privilege of being a channel, so that my suffering brothers may be helped and guided and healed and lifted into thy light, so that they who know not may look up, and in doing so receive through their higher selves your divine counsel. Almighty God, this day have you granted me a divine privilege. I ask you now to give to me the strength, so that never again will I turn from my inner vision of you. O great peace, great peace, great peace. In praise of your greatness, O God, doth my soul sing. Grant it energy to sing on forever and forever. All right. Thank you very much, everyone, for your kind attendance and participation. Again, feel free to visit our website, mysticknowledge.org, for additional information, resources, and books that are made available for you. Again, if you have any questions or comments, you can either hold them for the next session or feel free to email them to us at mystickknowledgecenter@gmail.com. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you next time. Take care.